And hello, well, good afternoon to you, and welcome to the Sunday edition of the Scottish Football Zone. We come on a bit later today because we thought, well, there's not a lot to talk about in the Old Firm game today. You know, but we'll make something up to talk about that game. I don't know how many pies were sold at Ibrox today, but we might touch upon that because there wasn't much to touch upon on the game. We're getting to the game very soon indeed. What's in the Dundee Derby? They're now up at Dens Park. Just started the second half. Dundee United won, and Ethan's got the team news on that one.
Yeah, there was two changes at half time, but I'll just give you the starting 11s. For Dundee, John McCracken in goals, back five of Samuels, Graham, Robertson, Astley, and Wright. Midfield four of Danda, Hamilton, Jones, and Wesley with Simon Murray up top. Dundee made two changes at half time. Joe Wesley and Jan Danda, the two newest signings. I think Hamilton's the newest signing in the start 11. Two of the newer signings from Stephen Presley come off, and Cameron Congreve and Tony Again off the bench. Dundee United didn't make any changes at half time. It's a 3-4-3 for Jim Goodwin. Kucherenko in goals, Kretsas, Esselink and Yovu at the back, Ferry, Kamara and Seve and Stevenson across the midfield with Fata, Dolcek and Sapsford as the front three, and Zachary Sapsford has the only goal of the game on 14 minutes, and John McCracken should have done a lot better to stop that shot, but Dundee United had the lead at Dens.
There you go. And also the Hibs and Millen game is off and running as well. 6 minutes gone. I presume it's 0-0 in that game. Any key news on that one, Ethan? Or are you?
Yeah, there's. I'll go with the Hibs team first. The 3-4-3 for Hibs. Smith in goals. Back three of Iredale, Bashiri and Grant Hanley comes in. Midfield four, the two Cadden brothers out wide with Chaiwa and Levitt. It's a front three of Junior Hoylett, Martin Boyle and record signing Thibault Cleege, who I think makes his first start in the Scottish Premiership, unless I'm mistaken. Then for St Mirren, it's a wee bit more of a familiar team for them. Obviously no Europe during the week. 3-5-2, George in goals, back three, Freckleton, Gogic, Fraser. Midfield five of the two wing backs is John, O'Hara, Bacchus, Phillips and Richardson, with a younger and Mandron up top. And the final match, also kicking off at 3 o'clock, so 4 of the 6 games today, is Aberdeen v Falkirk. For the Aberdeen team, it's Mitov in goals, back four of Devlin, Milne, Canusta and Jensen, midfield two of Palaversa and Polvara, an attacking three of Keskinen, Clarkson, Milanovic, with Yengi up top. For John McGlynn's Falkirk, Scott Bain in goals, back four of McCann, Henderson, Nielsen, Adams, midfield two of Spencer and Tate, Cartwright, Arfield and Miller, and behind McKeever. So that's all the lineups, and I'll give you any goal updates of any come the way of us. Hopefully more entertainment and action than in the early kick-off anyway.
And just to waste more time before we go on to talk about that non-Old Firm game at Ibrox this afternoon, in the women's football, it finished back at 5-0, Celtic 7. Hamilton and Hearts, Montrose and Aberdeen Rangers against Motherwell. They're all 4 o'clock kickoffs in the SWPL this afternoon. Right, I think I've wasted enough time, guys. Let's get into the non-game. If you're just waking up, no, it's not 5-12. It's 3, and the game was over. It's a very dull spectacle at Ibrox this afternoon. Rangers 0, Celtic 0. Before I'm going to waste a bit more time here because Robbie says much appreciated the minutes applause by Rob Petrie today at Easter Road. Rest in peace, of course. That was the first Hibs game since sadly, Rob Peaksey passed away. So that was a nice tribute from both sets of fans. So, as Ethan said, we'll keep you right up to date in the games during the game today's show. Hopefully, they will be a better spectacle. At least it's sunny up in Dundee. It wasn't sunny at Ibrox today. No. Alex, before we get into the, one shot on target for the whole 90 minutes, who will be the happiest manager? Would it be Brendan Rodgers or Russell Martin? Also, at the end of the game, I don't know if you saw this, guys, but the fans were booing Martin as he walked up the tunnel.
Yeah, I'm not sure happy would be the word to use for either manager. I think the least upset one would probably be Russell Martin. Going into today's game, he's under immense pressure, and see, to be honest, I think that Rangers showed something today that they've not showed all season, as far as I'm concerned. Obviously, the attacking play from both sides left a lot to be desired. There wasn't really anything of no real big chances. There was a couple of trundlers that Jack Butland had to hold on to, but other than that, there was nothing really doing for either sides. But I think Rangers definitely today showed more determination, more fight, than they have for the majority of the season. And I think I've spoke about, you try and latch on to a positive, and there hasn't been any positives for Rangers supporters to look at throughout this season. I think today we saw a little bit of something there. However, like I said, the attacking play still a lot left to be desired in that department.
Ethan, from a Celtic point of view, disappointing because Celtic never had any shots on target in the 47 minutes of the first half. A wee bit slightly better in the second half. You would say that they had a wee spell, maybe about for 10 minutes or so. But I mean, both goalkeepers, had not a lot to do in the game.
Yeah, and I think Graham said it in the comments, 90 minutes that we're never going to get back watching that, and that's been the case for Celtic and Rangers fans the last 3 games for both of them. Just terrible performances, and there isn't really many positives to take. I know Alex was saying about Rangers defended better today, and they did, but I think you could also put that down to how blunt Celtic have been in attack recently. But obviously the facts are,
I didn't say anything about defending. Sorry to jump all over you there. I just said Rangers were a bit better in terms of all over the pitch. They showed a bit of determination and a bit of fight. So sorry, I actually thought Rangers defending was calamitous again.
Yeah, I think I'm looking at the stats, and I'm just thinking that 2 clean sheets from Russell Martin's opening 10, none domestically. They obviously get one today. So I think you could take that as a small positive. But as I said, I don't think any of the managers will be happy. I think Russell Martin maybe the happier or slightly more happy of the two, just because it's been so poor even domestically for Rangers that even though it's not the best result in the world, it's still going and competing and being better for maybe more of the game, although I don't think there was any team that was better. I think a draw was the deserved result for both teams. And for Celtic, just blunt in the attacking areas again. They had a lot of possession, didn't do anything with it. Second half was better, as you said, Michael, but still not enough sustained pressure to really cause Rangers too many problems, despite Rangers handing them a few opportunities with Poor playing out from the back. Celtic defended their box well. Liam Scales especially, I thought, was Celtic's best player. And 6 clean sheets from 7 this season for Celtic. So that's not really been the area of issue. It's been on the attacking sense that they've just not created enough, and they never looked like scoring. Don't think Rangers really looked like scoring either. They had a lot of set pieces and chances to throw the ball into the box. They obviously did get that goal through John Souttar. He was always offside, which was disappointing for him, obviously. And then there was the penalty shout, which I think everyone's in agreement that it's not a penalty. But yeah, there's really not much to talk about in this game, and it's just more of the same from both teams, just poor and a real terrible advert for Scottish football.
Okay, let's move on now to speak about the rest of the game. No, I'm kidding. So the penalty by Majewski, I mean, that was a non-penalty as well, and all that. But what do you think of his contribution? That was his first game he get fired, didn't he? And I thought he'd done okay for Rangers today.
Yeah, he was kind of running the front line. You could see him trying to encourage his wingers to press with him. I think he was feeding on scraps, and he did the best he could do. I think throughout that game, or based on the service that he got, that penalty initially at first viewing, I thought it was penalty, and then I saw the replay and thought he just tripped, and then they showed another angle at half time, and he's just kicked Liam Scales and thrown himself to the ground.
It's stupid as well. Sorry to jump in. It's stupid from him as well, because if he just he's across his goal side of Scales, if he just kind of gets his body in and tries to stand up, then he's got a real chance to score. But he obviously tries to. Well, it looks like he tries to play for the penalty, and obviously it doesn't really work out for him. But
I think for Majewski as well, there was an element of ring rust for him. There was an opportunity, maybe. The commentators picked up on it, where the ball kind of came to him in the box in the second half, and if he'd let it fall, he could have struck it first time on the left foot. Instead, he tried to nod it to Mikey Moore, and it was behind Moore. So yeah, maybe a little bit of ring rust, but I think it was a positive sort of first performance from Majewski, and if they can get a bit of service to him, I think he can be effective. Although I'm not sure what Rangers striker situation is going to be, because the insane reports that have come out over the last couple of days is that Rangers are going to pay £8 million, rising to 10 in add-ons for Yusuf Chermiti from Everton. And Everton paid 12 million from him about a year ago, I think, from Sporting Lisbon. And I had a look at his goal record. He's not scored for Everton since joining, and before that he had 6 career goals. So shelling that kind of money out on, you're basically banking on potential there. I feel like that's kind of mental. So maybe that leads me to believe that Dessers or Danilo could be on their way out as well. But because I think, well, when you've got those 4, if you bring in 2 new guys, they'll be high in the pecking order. And I think Dessers is clearly better than Danilo. So, I think it would be difficult to sort of juggle four kind of senior strikers as well. Chermiti's would be the youngest, but he is 21 or 22, I think. And then the rest of them are 25, 26. Dessers is 30. So that would be a difficult situation to handle.
Yeah, I think that's been a problem with a lot of Rangers signings and possibly some Celtic signings this summer as well, that too much signings have been buying potential that isn't improving the first 11, or they're having to force these players into the first 11, but they're not really improving the squad from the starting team from last season. And yeah, I thought Majewski, as I said, I thought he was okay today. He didn't get much chances. He looked a threat. He applied himself well, put himself about, and yeah. But I don't think any team really threatened all that much.
No.
It was just a really awful game of football. The XG philosophy, I think he's called, on X, tweeted the game out for the expected goals, 0.32, I believe it was in total. as the lowest game that he's ever tweeted out. So that just shows how terrible of a match it was, and there was just no quality from either side. Celtic were so negative on the ball. It was unbelievable the amount of times that they passed backwards. There was one point in the game that really sort of was a telling sign of how the afternoon went. Rio Atati had loads of space on the ball, loads of options in front of him, turns and chooses to play backwards. And then a second later, I think it was Liam Scales played a forward pass looking for, I can't remember, one of the Celtic attackers, and it ran right through to Butland or one of the Rangers defenders, and they put it out for a throw-in up the pitch. And it's like, you pass forward, and although it didn't even make it to one of your players, you've got up the pitch and got a throw-in in an attacking area, and it was just baffling how negative Celtic were. Rangers were positive when they got on the ball. They tried to work it forward quickly, but they just never really created enough threat to cause Celtic any problems.
To me as well with Rangers, I think we saw it a little bit in the Celtic front line, but to me with Rangers, sort of when they did try and move it quickly, it's sort of it gave me the impression of a team that are still getting used to each other going forward, because they would try some combinations and maybe they just weren't on the same wavelength and they'd lose it, or one guy would spend too long on the ball because he didn't know that someone was making a run. But when you're used to playing with players and stuff, you know that guy's going to be making that run, so you can basically play it without looking most of the time. So yeah, I feel like that was why. I feel like that was why there was a lot of sort of disjointed attacking play. But yeah, even still, though, they should have found some sort of way through to test Kasper Schmeichel. Both goalies just sunbathing for the afternoon, it seemed. And Ethan mentioned Scales earlier. I thought he was the standout for Celtic. I thought Mohamed Diamande was the standout for Rangers today. He was absolutely everywhere. And he seemed really aggressive. He seemed like maybe one of the only players on the pitch that realised he was in an Old Firm match. Because he was.
Do you think he should have been sent off? Do you think he should have been sent off?
No, I don't think so.
No, right.
What one's that for? Oh, what's that? What one's that for?
Well, Newman, he was flying it in the tackles kind of like all day long.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
I think with Diamande is that he's a player that you despise to not have on your team, but he's one that you love to have on your team on Derby Day. But I just don't think he's like consistently like that enough. He plays really well in some of the Derby games, and then sort of your games that Rangers are expected to play well and win, he's less impactful, I would say, and that's why he's not had a consistent run in the Rangers team this season. But him and Connor Barron, I thought were good. Neil McCann was making it out like they were the best midfield in the world at some points, but no, they were good, and they were improvement on what we've seen in that Rangers midfield.
I think the commentators had a hard task though, because they were trying to make it. They did that a few times with like different players on the pitch, and they were trying to make it exciting as possible. It made me laugh when they came back from half time. And Ian Crocker was going, Rangers on top, but it could go either way. And I'm going, Rangers have been a little bit better in Celtic in the other areas of the pitch, but it's been dire going forward. So
I think the only exciting bit I got was a pie from a certain shop in the second half, and a big yum yum, and that was me as well. I didn't bother about the game. I was more impressed he gave me a pie and my kind of yum. Going back to the first half, that was as poor. Well, that was as poor as I've seen Celtic for a while. But saying that was the best I've seen Rangers this season as well. Obviously, John can put
that's saying something.
Well, yeah. John sort of had the ball in the back of the net and a disagreement, guys, when it went to the
No, he was unfortunate because it was a really good header, but he was offside. So yeah, but that was. Yeah, I thought in that moment I was quite happy, but then as soon I didn't even need to see the lines. I just saw he'd gone too early, unfortunately, and then that was the only thing that threatened either goal for the rest of the whole game.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think Alex, I imagine I've watched quite a lot of Rangers this season, but I imagine you've watched even more than I have. Do you think Rangers were quite direct today in like their set pieces, the long throw-ins, the free kicks in the box and stuff? I think
it was a clear game plan.
Yeah, rather than the sort of, I think Russell Martin's been accused of overworking it. It was more direct today, and of course it didn't work out. The attacking threat was probably
right. I'm watching Man City Brighton. Brighton have just got a pen away.
Oh, right. And it was less of a. It was probably less of a threat than there'd been in any games, apart from obviously the game in Bruges where they're down to 10 men early on. But two battles I wanted to point out, one for winger on each team, I thought were quite interesting. Obviously, Miovski made his debut, but so did Michelangelo Balikwisha. And I thought he was not really in the game at all. He had a few decent moments on the ball, but he never really took on Tavernier. He had opportunities to, but he just didn't. There was one chance where he sort of barged into Tavernier and Don Robertson gave a really soft foul and sort of let Tavernier off the hook in a way. But yeah, he wasn't really in the game, but neither was Benjamin Nygren either. I thought Jayden Nagoma kept him quiet on that side as well. And the other battle I was referring to, which I thought was quite strange, was that Zedi Gassama was on the right, and I know Mikey Moore probably prefers to play on that left-hand side, but I think looking into the game, one of the matchups that you would be worried as a Celtic fan was Gassama going up against Anthony Ralston. And
yeah, I would have loved to have seen Gassama going at Ralston, because even though you saw Gassama was on his wrong side, he still took Tierney a go a couple of times. So you know, I would have loved to have seen Gassama up against Anthony Ralston, but that didn't happen. It was funny though as well, because even when Oliver Antman came on, he kept Gassama on the right hand side, which I was a bit confused about.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then Curtis.
Yeah, I understood it in the second half. No, not at all. I understood it in the second half because Kieran Tierney, there was one point in the second half where Gassama knocked the ball past Tierney and he didn't even try to like track his run. He just tried to block Gassama off, and I think it was that point you could sort of tell that Tierney had run his race in the game. But in the first half, Ralston dealt with Mikey Moore pretty comfortable. I mean, everyone dealt with everyone pretty comfortably. That's why there was no chances created. But you think maybe if you'd got Gassama up against Ralston, you might have had a different problem with how Gassama's been, but he never really had that impact on the game, and no one really did in attacking areas for any teams, and it was just a dire game of football.
I thought Mikey Moore was really isolated as well. Any time he got the ball, they were doubling up on him, and he didn't really get the chance to do anything either. But I thought he was fine. He didn't really do anything. One guy that I wasn't happy with at all. I wasn't happy with at all because I just thought he was anonymous. Was Tello Asgard? He was terrible. When he got the ball, he was slow. He always seems to get it caught under his feet. He was giving away kind of silly fouls and stuff like that. And he wasn't good today at all. But I think other than him and Nasser Giga were probably the worst for Rangers today. I think Magoma was decent, Tavernier was decent, Diamande was decent. Gassama had some decent moments, and the rest were all kind of like fine. I think it's just it was just a boring game. It's like the equivalent to getting like plain porridge for your breakfast. That there isn't. I think we have done really well managing to drag this out this long, but it was poor today.
70 minutes in the Dundee derby and nothing really right home about here. Still 1-0 to Dundee United, Ethan, and there's no much clear chances in this game.
No, not at all. I was talking about the low expected goals in the Celtic Rangers game, and I actually tweeted out that this match had overtaken that after 15 minutes. But now there's only a total of 0.46 XG, so hardly a very entertaining game either. 70 minutes in, Dundee United still sitting on that lead. Dundee have created almost nothing in front of goal. Dundee United not creating too much either. It's been pretty poor game by all accounts, and yeah, just a really terrible day for Scottish football. The other games are still nothing each as we approach the half an hour mark. Well, one of the games is Aberdeen's half an hour in, Hibs St Mirren 27 minutes in, but yeah, nothing really much happening there either. I think Hibs started the better of the two teams, but St Mirren have had chances as well.
Graham's asking in the chat, Ethan, is that one of the worst games you have seen from Atati? But I would maybe say yes, but also I would maybe say, a few of the players today, even.
Yeah, for someone that sees Rio Hatate a lot, and I'm a big admirer of Rio Hatate. I think he's on his game. He's a great player. He always looks for that forward pass and that killer pass. He didn't have his best game. He was pretty terrible on the day. Nothing really went for him. But he's had a lot worse games than that. And I think it's maybe because everyone else in the game wasn't too great. But there's been even Celtic Rangers games where he's been like a man down almost. And I don't think he was that today. But yeah, he wasn't great.
I just want to say something on another midfielder. And I can understand why the Celtic fans have dubbed him Captain Passback. For the kind of second game running that I've seen, and I couldn't quite believe it, and I know there's been a lot of talk about him this season, Callum McGregor was absolutely anonymous. He wasn't moving the ball forward like he usually does. He wasn't playing that sort of split and pass. He's usually really good at breaking the lines between the press, and he's.
And then they gave a goal away as well.
Yeah, well, if Nadeem Bayrami could have done something with the ball after Desser's taking it off of McGregor, it would have been an embarrassing moment for him. But I think that personified the game there. McGregor sleeping, lets Dessers nip in, and then Rangers win the ball, and Bayrami just runs into a defender. So I think that little moment encapsulated the whole 90 minutes. Just slack play and poor attacking play.
And of course, Ethan, that's the final game before the international break, and let fun commence, especially at Celtic Park, about players going in. Either it's away, and obviously Russell Martin basically confirmed on the interview that Cyril Dessers is away.
Sorry, has he?
Yep. I can tell you guys never saw that interview after the game, but
no, I didn't.
No, right, okay. So, yep. He said that was the last game that he would be kind of like involved in, and we wish him luck in the future.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but guessing I've seen the use of Chermiti links as Alex referenced to, and that's probably why that Rangers are looking at another striker. Obviously, Miovski replaced Hams Igaman, who scored 2 goals on his debut for Lille yesterday. And yeah, I imagine Chermiti is going to be the replacement for Cyril Dessers. And He is someone that has been linked with a move away, and we did sort of always think that he was going to move away.
Essers is going to Panathinaikos, it looks like.
Oh, is he? That'll be
to replace Ioannidis.
Who's Ioannidis going to?
No idea.
Yeah, he looked really good when he played against Rangers. Fotis Ioannidis, I liked him as a player.
Alex, what do you think of this? Nobody picked this up on the TV. I think you guys picked up as well. But the Rangers fans in 20 minutes of the first half were chanting Nikhil Raskin's name. Now, what does that tell you about Russell Martin?
I think for the fans made it clear before the game on social media that they're there to support the players, not Russell Martin. So, and yeah, I think that was a clear protest against his kind of decisions and stuff like that. So, just Ethan, to answer your question, I just searched it up there. It looks like Ioannidis is joining Leeds.
Oh, right.
So, which is interesting because they've got 3 senior strikers on the books already.
Oh, I'm just 2-0 to Dundee United.
Oh, yeah.
Goal from a corner, Ivan Dolcek with another goal. So it looks like Dundee United will beat Dundee, as someone predicted. So yeah, 2-0 Dundee United with just over 10 minutes left at Dens Park.
Yeah, I'll let Stuart know that I'm never back in Dundee again.
No, I think the Dundee fans have been really unhappy with this performance as well. There's been a lot of groans and moans from the stands about how their team's played, and Dundee United long throw into the box and it falls for Dolcek, and
that's a good goal. Yeah,
a really nice finish. That's 4 for the season in the Premiership for him already. So
yeah, he's been pretty good. By the way,
the keeper. By the way, sorry, Alex. I don't know about you. You saw the goal, Alex, as well. But the keeper was bad for the goal there.
Yeah, he was really bad for the first one as well, John McCracken. So yeah, there might be somewhere that Dundee need a new keeper or need to replace McCracken because he was quite poor for both goals. But yeah, still, I believe it's still nothing each in the other games. So yeah, that's the only.
I was just going to say on the topic of goal scorers, Emmanuel Longello's got 3 in the SPFL this season. He's a left back.
His goal. We'll get on. I'm guessing we'll get on to the Motherwell Kilmarnock game, but his goal against Kilmarnock yesterday was very reminiscent of the one against Rangers. It was a very similar goal. But yeah, he's been a strange goal scoring threat for them.
Right, guys. I think we've actually. Yeah, sorry, Alex.
I'm just saying maybe he's the next Tavernier goal scoring fullback.
I think we've actually did well out the game. The 37 minutes gone, and we spoke about that. I want to say good luck to the sports scene editor tonight for getting that game today. Good luck to you. Plenty of coffee in you before you go into the suite, and you'll be fine. Okay, let's go on to the other games yesterday. The other 2 games actually. Let's start at the game at the champions of the Premiership, Hearts, winning away to Livingston 2-1. It was a kind of early scare in this game, Alex, because Livingston took an early lead.
Yeah, and I wasn't expecting it. I thought it would be comfortable for Hearts, but they did manage to turn it around in the end. To be honest, yesterday I wasn't. I should probably have been, but it's the first Saturday I've had off in ages, so I watched back-to-back English Premier League games. So I have seen the highlights of the Hearts game and stuff like that, but I'm not 100% on sort of the flow of the game. But obviously, anytime you go to the spaghetti had, you're in for a difficult one. But they managed to claw it back again. Although that's probably not a theme the Hearts supporters would want to see. Going down and having go back, especially the game last week. But yeah, they'll be happy to get the win.
Ethan?
Yeah, I would agree with Alex. I did think it would be, despite Hearts starting the season really well, apart from that League Cup defeat, I expected it to be a difficult game for them going to David Martindale and Livingston's fortress, and that's exactly what they've done. Lewis Smith took his goal well, topping the score in the first half for Livy, and then Hearts need to pull off the late show, another comeback. They obviously came back to get a draw against Motherwell, came back to get a win against Dundee United at Tannadice, and they came back again here. And I think I didn't watch the game, but I've seen the highlights. I think Alexandros Kizridis, the summer signing, was the difference when he came on at half time for Craig Halkett. So a bit of a bold substitution, and obviously that's what Hearts needed. He set up the first goal right at the start of the second half, gets to the byline, puts the cross across the box, and Claudio Braga heads in well. And then it looked like Hearts were going to need to settle for another point in the league, but Kuzridis come up with a great finish in injury time to win the 3 points for Hearts and put pressure on Celtic to at least get a point today. Otherwise, Hearts would have been outright top of the Scottish Premiership, but obviously level on points with Celtic now. And if they were to play Celtic and Rangers at the moment, I think Hearts would certainly fancy their chances, and maybe Tony Bloom will be having a little bit of a laugh to himself so far this season, because we all laughed at his comments, but he's sticking true to them, and so is Derek McInnes and the Hearts players at the moment.
And of course the break is coming up, and Hearts are very maybe disappointed in it, because obviously that would break up some of the, well, maybe not, but some of the kind of like momentum when they come back. And I think they go to Ibrox the first game back.
Yeah, they're doing. As Alex touched on, it's not really sustainable, maybe, how they've been getting the results, Hearts. I think we've seen it with Aberdeen last season when they obviously started the season that ridiculous way that stats-wise and data-wise, the way Aberdeen were playing wasn't always going to be sustainable. And we obviously found out that as Aberdeen fell off a cliff at that point in the season. Obviously, Hearts are getting the results now, but I think Derek McInnes will want them to be more comfortable in the coming weeks after the international break. Obviously, they won't care if they go to Ibrox and get a really positive result, and they'll be confident they can go there and cause Russell Martin's team problems and be the first team to cancel the invincible season for Russell Martin, as Alex mentioned before the show started, I think.
Yeah, as well on that kind of point about Hearts maybe starting behind, I think if Rangers are the same when they go into that game, Hearts don't need to worry about that, because attacking threat has been an issue for Rangers this season. We saw it again today, and Hearts don't seem to have a problem with scoring goals, and Rangers have defensive problems. So it seems it's all falling into place for a big Jambos victory at Ibrox. But I guess we need to see maybe what players Rangers bring in. I think at least two are close to being completed. Derek Cornelius from Marseille, Canada International, former teammate of the currently injured Alistair Johnston. And as well,
current teammate.
Yeah,
it's not a current teammate.
Well, did they not used to both play for the Whitecaps together?
Well, maybe they did. I don't know. I thought you meant former teammate for the national team, but
no. Did Alistair Johnston not play for Vancouver Whitecaps as well?
Might have done. I know he played for Montreal. Let me double check.
Might be getting my Canadian cities mixed up, but he's a current national team teammate of Alistair Johnston, and obviously Yusuf Chermiti is but apparently coming in the door. It's looking more likely now with Cyril Dessers going out for around €5 million was the reported fee, which is quite good. I think that's about what we paid for him. So he's not depreciated in value. He's over 30 now. So that's fine, I guess. But yeah, Cornelius looks like a decent player. Chermiti, I'm less sure about. So we'll need to wait and see what Hearts do in the window as well. And then when we come back from watching Scotland lose to Belarus, we get back to the domestic football and see what happens.
Yeah, no, exactly. And when Livingston took the league yesterday, Alex, you're thinking, well, David Martindale's got to do it again because he seems to have this kind of like knack.
I've got an update from the Aberdeen game. Nicky Devlin has been sent off in the 43rd minute, straight red card.
Oh, yeah, Aberdeen looked good based on the stats as well. 9 shots, 4 on target, 0.8 expected goals, but that'll be a setback to them. And Jimmy Torino need to win this game, otherwise he'll be under massive pressure. We talked about it in the pre-show on Friday evening. So, yes,
according to FOTMob, Nicky Devlin's been sent off twice.
I just noticed that there. I thought it was another red card, but no, it's just Nicky Devlin and Devlin that have been sent off.
Ethan, I'm watching this Dundee United game, and they're showing you the Dundee fans, and I suppose like you want to beat your city rivals, but all the work has been undone because they went to Ibrox a week and there they beat Rangers, and then they're going to fall behind against United at home 2-0.
Yeah, exactly that, and a massive result for United. Obviously, they've had restraints on maybe their performances domestically because of Europe. They've not had that anymore, and now they've had their first chance to play without being sort of having that European hangover, and they've turned out pretty well. It hasn't been the best performance by them, but they've beat their rivals, and sometimes that's all that matters, unless there's a remarkable comeback from Dundee in the final couple of minutes plus injury time.
Yep, I think it's 3 minutes to go in this game, and I don't see any comeback from Dundee now. I think they fell to bits in the second half, and I've not saw the first half. Obviously, I can't comment on it, but it's been all kind of like United. So a good 3 points for John Goodwin.
Yeah, well, I'll put it into perspective. Dundee United have created. Dundee have created about half of the expected goals that Celtic and Rangers created each. So
for the
Dundee have been even a less attacking threat than both Celtic and Rangers. So that is really saying something. It's been poor performance by them, and back to square one really for Stephen Presley, be under massive pressure from the Dens Park faithful.
And I'm actually just hearing, Alex, that no team scored during the warm-up as well. So no goals were scored in the warm-up, no goals were scored in 90 minutes. So yeah, that was it's a hard watch as well. Derek McInnes, what do you think of him, Alex? This is the man that could have been to Ibrox a few seasons ago.
I never wanted him, to be totally honest. I think he's fine. He's probably better than our current manager, but he's a good manager. But he's good for. This is going to sound really disrespectful, but he's good for Hearts and Kilmarnock and Aberdeen. I'm trying to put it in a way that it's not. That doesn't sound really, really disrespectful to the other sides, but I just feel like his kind of style of football doesn't suit a club like Rangers.
Let's move on to the game of, and I did tell you guys that this game is going to be the game of the weekend, and it turned out like that at Fir Park. A welcome home for maybe Stuart Kettlewell, not because I think he get booed from the first minute he stepped out the tunnel in this game. 2-each a final score, Ethan.
Yeah, this was a game that I got very wrong. I'll hold my hands up. I done pretty decent with my predictions this week, but for Motherwell and Kilmarnock, I was miles off. I said 4-0 to Motherwell, and it didn't turn out that way. Although listening to the radio, it seems like Motherwell really should have won that match, and the Motherwell goalkeeper is possibly to blame as to why Kilmarnock found their second equaliser and take a point away from Fir Park.
Yep, and I mean, I did say in paper on Friday, Ethan, that Alex, sorry, that this was a game. It's an old firm wasn't meeting to get Ibrox. I think this was one of the games of the weekend, and it turned out that.
Yeah, it did. And Brighton have just scored a last-minute winner against Man City. Sorry, but yeah, 89th minute, 2-1 to Brighton. What was I talking about? Yeah, it was one of the games of the weekend. And Kilmarnock continue to surprise me. They're either incredibly bad or quite good. So they seem like a very kind of Jekyll and Hyde team right now. Daniels with another goal. He seems to be a decent player. And yeah, Motherwell will be disappointed. They join Rangers and draw FC 4-4 to start the season.
So the Kilmarnock.
Yeah, Kilmarnock as well. So, good company they're keeping. But definitely game of the weekend in the Premiership, I'd say. But I think mine and Ethan's pick for game of the weekend in the Championship takes the cake for the best game of the weekend. That was Partick Thistle and Raith Rovers.
Yeah, no, that was a big win for Matt Wilson, especially at home, Ethan.
Yeah, exactly that, and they'll be looking up the table now to kind of go for those promotion places or playoff places. I know St Johnstone slipped up, dropping points against Greenock Morton. They did get an equaliser, and I believe that match finished 1-1. But yeah, still a lot of areas for competitiveness in the Scottish Championship, and yeah, but Motherwell, I think, will be kicking themselves again that they've not managed to hold on for the 3 points. But yeah, a good point for Kilmarnock, and yeah, two teams that have yet to win a game, but they're yet to lose a game, and they're both in the top 6, and that's where they'll be aiming to finish come the end of the season.
Yeah, it gets run through the game for you in the Championship if you haven't saw the scores. Arbroath 1, Airdrie 0, Ayr United 1, Queen's Park 1, Glenferming 2, Ross County 2, Partick Thistle 3, Raith Rovers 2, and St Johnstone 1. Not St Mirren, by the way. St Johnstone 1, Greenock Morton 1. So a bit of a disappointing day for Seymour Valicari after a brilliant start, Alex.
Yeah, it would be, and I'm surprised that game turned out the way it did. Obviously, St Johnstone, you can't win every game in emphatic fashion. You've expected them to win with the way they've started. However, it didn't turn out that way. I've just got a little bit of Hearts-related news. They've announced the signing of German goalkeeper Alexander Schwolo on a 2-year deal. This is Hearts talking about the 33-year-old who has made more than 200 Bundesliga appearances has penned a 2-year deal at Tynecastle, subject to visa approval, SFA approval, and international clearance. So it looks like Xander Clarkin could be getting chucked out the Hearts goal for the foreseeable future. And understandably so. He hasn't started the season very well. That was just going back to that other game. A good point for Greenock Morton as well, who haven't started the season so well.
I think that would maybe be the end of Craig Gordon at Tynecastle, because I don't think he would play understudy to that goalkeeper. I think that will be Xander Clark, Ethan.
Yeah, exactly that. And Craig Gordon, obviously, I think injured now, so in his final season, it's going to be difficult. And obviously he's had his testimonial now after a incredibly long career where we always think that he's going to be done, and he comes back again. Credit to him, but yeah, I think Hearts did need to strengthen that position, and now they have. And I wasn't aware until Alex said there, but Alexander Schwallow a really good goalkeeper. That's, although he's not played a lot recently in the Bundesliga, for the best part of over 5 years, he was a mainstay in teams like Freiburg and Hertha Berlin and even Schalke for a season. So yeah, he's a really good goalkeeper that'll, I think, is a real statement of intent from Hearts as to a lot of players they brought in and really going for it. And I think, of course, the signing of the Brazilian, that his name's escaping me right now.
Aguirre.
Yeah, Aguirre, the record signing who came on at the weekend. I think Hearts are really showing that they're going for it, and they do have confidence that maybe they can finish even higher than third this season.
You know, I saw that they paid £1.7 million for him, which is big. You were talking about statements of intent. That is a big amount of money for a team that isn't Celtic or Rangers to lay out. So, maybe it's all coming together. They've got they've splurged for their record transfer. They've brought in a former Bundesliga goalkeeper. Maybe Tony Bloom knew what he was talking about.
Full time at Dens Park, Dundee now, Dundee United 2, and they'll be dancing across the road tonight. Ethan, big win for United.
Yeah, exactly what they needed, and after a tricky start to the season domestically, obviously juggling it with Europe, they get a really big win, and now maybe they can start going on a run again for Europe next season, because their new signings have looked good. Sapsford and Dolcek with the goals, they've probably been two of the standouts, and it's always nice to get bragging rights over your rivals early in the season, especially away from home, although not far away from home, of course. And yeah, the United fans will be really happy, and any sort of doubt they might have had for Jim Goodwin at the start of the season, although I don't think there was any, will be gone. And the pressure's back on Stephen Presley now, because the derbies are the main ones, the big games that you need to get results in, and the results haven't been too great so far. Obviously, a really good point at Ibrox, which could have been 3, and a decent point at Rugby Park. But yeah, back to the drawing board for him and his players, and we've obviously got time to rest on it with the international break, but it's important Dundee come back and start picking up points, because you may feel that they could be left behind by the rest of the teams in the league if they don't start picking up some sort of form.
Alex, there's not a lot to talk about in the Aberdeen, Falkirk and Hibs and St Mirren games. Half time in both of the games. Would you believe it? It's 0-0.
Yeah, it just keeps piling on. The great day we've had of entertaining football. However, if Falkirk can exploit Aberdeen being down to 10 men, we may see some goals. And I doubt we'll see a Hibs game finish 0-0. So hopefully there'll be some interesting goals, other things, other events in the game. Certainly the Aberdeen game's already more entertaining than the Rangers Celtic game, because there's been a red card, so something of note has happened. It's not been great so far, but hopefully there's some more goals. I know we're all Scottish football here, but West Ham beat Nottingham Forest 3-0, and West Ham have been rubbish. And they've gone to the City ground and they've won 3-0. So that's quite interesting. So I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, I didn't expect that, and didn't actually want that to happen for fantasy football purposes. But
Have you got a few Forest players in there, Ethan?
Yeah, we'll have to go back to the drawing board on them. So yeah, poor afternoon. For the favourites in the Premier League kickoff so far. And the other notable thing I was going to take from the 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Scottish Premiership was that Killian Phillips came off injured after 27 minutes. Don't know the extent of that one. Richard King come on for him, but yeah, really not much going on in those 2 games. Hopefully it will change in the second half.
Yep, and the 4 o'clock kickoffs in the women's games, Hamilton, Alex's second team against Hearts, Montrose against Aberdeen, and Rangers against Motherwell are all underway. And early on, there wasn't any goals between Rangers and Celtic, but there was goals in the Glasgow derby to get packet for 0-0. Celtic 7, Alex. That was a big result for Celtics, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad that at least one Glasgow derby has some goals in it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the title race in the SWPL this season. It looks like it could be, although it was exciting last season, it looks like it could be even more exciting this season. And Celtic will be looking to bounce back from their poor season previous. And a 7-0 win doesn't hurt. I know big results in the SWPL are slightly more common than the men's game, but it's still got to feel good putting 7 past your opponents.
Yeah, and they've cut the league down to 10 teams, I think, to try and sort of eradicate and make it less of those sort of big victories, with the overall quality or average quality of the league being better, and hopefully that transpires that way. Celtic started the season really well, 3 wins from 3. One of them against Hearts as well, who were one of the strong teams last season. Were just, I think, 4th. Hearts might have finished last campaign, so, and they were in the race for the title for a while. Obviously, Hibs got it, their first title, and Hibs have started the season really well. And yeah, so yeah, a lot of talking points in the SWPL early on, and hopefully, as Alex said, it's even more of an entertaining title race than it was last season.
Looking ahead to tomorrow, guys, obviously everybody goes away with the international teams, and we'll be here because obviously it's the last day of the transfer window. Are you expecting, after watching that game today, are you expecting big movers and shakers both at Rangers and Celtic?
I think both sides. We might see a striker in the door. Another centre back for Rangers is definitely a must. And and I would, if I'm being greedy, I'd like another left back. But I think Chermiti and Cornelius might be the only players coming in the door. I think for Celtic, it should be quite an active deadline day, Ethan.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you on Rangers. I think they need another striker, obviously, to make up the numbers of Dessers is leaving. Another centre back has been one they've needed for a while, and I would say a left back as well. Obviously, they've let go of 2 and only brought in 1, which is the simple mathematics which Celtic couldn't get their head around for quite a while. They've obviously got Srirachi in now, who made his debut today.
He looked rubbish, by the way.
No, I thought he looked okay. He didn't really look at. I didn't think he really looked at anything. He just looked a player that came on. I think that was for most of the players as well. There wasn't really many sort of. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about that game anymore anyway. But yeah, Celtic need a striker, at least one, and I think they'll probably only get one, even if they do sell Adamida to Swansea for recouping most of their £9 million fee, which looks like will happen. And then I would guess that they need another winger as well. Although the one they've been linked with the most recently is Tanetke, the Tunisian winger from Hammarby. Although he is playing right now as we speak for Hammarby, started that match, so possibly he's not going to be the one unless.
I think the main issue and the main reports that have been coming out is Celtic have bid twice and it's been below Hammarby's valuation of him, and they were doing that. They were doing that earlier in the campaign in the window with Jakob Broom, and they didn't get him, and it looks like they're doing it again.
Yeah, Jakob Broom is the same story. You're right, and I think it is a mix of Celtic leaving it to the last minute and letting teams know their hand that they need wingers. So yeah, I doubt. I haven't seen much of Sebastian Tanecki. I doubt he's worth as much as 5 million. But obviously, it doesn't matter how much I think he's worth. Or other people think he's worth. If Hammarby are demanding £5 million for him, then that's how much Celtic need to cough up. And it's getting to the point where Celtic don't really have an option to penny pinch. They need to go and buy players because you've seen today and you've seen against Kairat Amati especially in the 2 legs that the squad is just not good enough to compete on a League Cup and European front.
Have Celtic managed to produce the three most boring games of football you've ever seen in the last week and a half?
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, quite possibly, and the Celtic fans will be really frustrated. I think a lot of them would have taken a point for how the match went. It looked for large stages that Rangers were going to get a goal, although they weren't threatening too much. As I said, they had a lot of set pieces and threats. But obviously, the Rangers fans will be the same, despite their games being a bit more entertaining for maybe non-Rangers fans. The last 2 against Club Brugge, they've been obviously terrible from a Rangers fan perspective, and that's why there's still immense pressure on Russell Martin and even booing as he went down the tunnel after the match.
And Goose could confirm that if anybody's watching, the Scottish window shuts at 11 o'clock, not 7 o'clock, as me and Ethan kind of found out the other night, because I thought we were going to be here early evening to do the show, even, but it's going to be a late one.
Yeah, it is strange that the Premier League have switched to 7 p.m, but we still stay at the 11 p.m. Deadline. And yeah, Aberdeen, I've just noticed make a change at half time. As I've just seen Ryan's comment there. Cassini Yenge pulled off at half time, so he must not be having too great a game, although obviously they do probably need to bring a defender on to make up the numbers at the back after Nicky Devlin was sent off. But yeah, Cassini Yenge's pretty poor start to his life in Aberdeen continues, unfortunately. It'll be a big second half for Aberdeen because massive pressure on Jimmy Tilleen if they don't get 3 points there, regardless of the fact they're down to 10 men now.
And then it's on to Scotland next week. Could get even better. Denmark next Friday, or no, I think everybody will be behind the couch. But no, trying to stay positive. And then a couple of days later, we have got Belarus as well. You would think that would be a kind of, not an easy win, but a sticky 1-0 game against Belarus, but maybe not so much against Denmark, Alex.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the Belarus game's got a 1-0 defeat written all over it. And I feel like we might go to Denmark and actually do something that's just the Scottish way. But it's an interesting international break. I'm usually not too pleased about international break coming in and interrupting club football. However, this time I'm a bit better. I'm a bit happier because obviously Rangers has been dire watching.
What do you think the start of the season for Rangers' point of view? Obviously, out the Champions League, struggled against Alloa. Okay, you get through, and then not winning a single game yet. What do you think of the start Rangers has made, Alex?
It's unacceptable. It is the worst Rangers start for Rangers in 43 years. I think now was the last time they went through the first opening 4 league games without a win. So you could fit the lifespan of 2 Mays and an extra 3 years. And that time, the last time Rangers didn't win their opening 4 league games. So it's been unacceptable. It's been a really shocking start for Rangers, and hopefully they can kick on after the international break and start it off with a win against Hearts. But I'm pessimistic right now. I'm usually an optimistic person, but it's been tough going. I've been beaten down. My positivity's all gone.
Yeah, well, if you're watching like the scores coming in, my positivity has went down a wee bit because it's not been the best day of the world in football terms. Obviously, a big win for Dundee United today, winning 2-0. Just looking at the scores on the Premiership, the second half has just got started. It is, believe it or not, Aberdeen 0, Falkirk 0, 54 minutes gone. And the other game, Hibs 0, St Mirren 0. In the women's football, just give you the score early on. Packet Thistle 0, Celtic 7. Hamilton Accies, and Hearts 10 minutes gone 0-0. Monclose, Aberdeen and Rangers in Motherwell. Funnily enough, 0-0 there as well, so not a lot to talk about today. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks to Ethan, thanks to Alex. Sorry about the most disappointing game in the world, but things could go and get better. We'll be back tomorrow night with the transfer window, and I think there'll be more
I'm looking forward to that. Just sitting there, constantly checking your phone. So he's signed here, he's gone there. I always love a deadline day, and I'll be excited to be on talking about it.
And
I'm getting a call. There's movement at Celtic Park.
Ethan's got to wear a yellow tie.
For
the show.
Yeah. I've got a yellow tie there. I'll stick it on. I'll stick my shirt on. But no, as Alex said, it'll be fun, and hopefully there's some the big moves. Obviously, Celtic and Rangers look like they need to sign a striker as one of their big strikers depart. So, yeah. And
hopefully there'll be more to talk about. More signings and chances today as well, so that's good. And then we'll be back next week as well for the Scotland game. I'll be doing the show behind the couch somewhere, and I will maybe behind the couch at the Belarus game as well. Yeah, Alex, you could be right. We could go over to Denmark and we could win and get beat off of Belarus. You couldn't put it past the Scotland squad.
No, definitely not. It's just so Scottish to go do something like that. It would be so Scottish, because if you look at that group as well, I think Belarus is, our best chance for points. So, yeah, I think the Belarus game is a must win, and Denmark, I'd be happy with a point going away for that. But I don't know. It's interesting, and it's interesting the way Scottish football works as a whole.
Yeah,
I'm good. Yeah.
Oh, there you go, Michael. I was just going to say Celtic will arrive into that game when Scotland go to Denmark. As away to Denmark first, isn't it?
Yeah, away to Denmark.
Yeah, I thought so. They'll hope to be going into that game with the Denmark goalkeeper and Denmark striker and Kasper Dolberg, but we obviously don't know if that's going to happen yet. But no, some exciting.
I don't think he starts for Denmark, does he?
No, but he's still a striker, isn't he?
Yeah, but you look at the other options. Strand Larsen.
Is he a striker?
Yeah, but But
Is he
you said
Danish?
the Denmark striker.
Yeah, well, he's in the squad, I think.
Okay.
Is Strand Larsen Danish?
I thought he was.
I think he's Norwegian.
By the way, this is what you call padding out the show, because I'm definitely the guys are definitely trying to find players, and I'm definitely trying to find a goal to tell you about. But nothing, manana. So there you go. And the only game to have 2 goals today was Dundee United, 1-2 against Dundee. So yeah. So that's us then, guys. It's been a long show with nothing to really talk about. Hopefully we'll have more to talk about tomorrow night. We'll be here at 10 o'clock tomorrow night. I think we're the only show it's on talking about transfers in Scotland anyway, so make sure you join us at 10 o'clock, and then we'll be back on Friday for the Denmark game and the international game as well against Scotland. Belarus, that's it. I couldn't remember the other team we were playing, because I was so engrossed in what Charlie Mulgrew is saying at the moment about the Dundee derby. So thanks for watching, and thanks to Ethan, thanks to Alex, and we'll see you tomorrow night live here at 10 o'clock.